Hey everyone. So today is a bad day. Um, I lost one of my friends today, and before I talk about that, I want to say before anything, when it comes to methadone, there's going to be people in the comments saying things like this: "Methadone saved my life." Not everybody has bad experiences. Not everybody abuses methadone. It's my dog. It's going nuts right now, but I need to do this video. Anyways, there's going to be people saying that people are always upset when I talk about methadone and methadone awareness. There are lots of people that it helps, and a lot of people use it to manage to get their kids back because they're on heroin and methadone helps them. There are people that are able to have stability because of methadone, right? And I understand that. I was on it for 5 years. And when I was on it for 5 years, I understand that not everything that I experienced, other people are going to experience, right? But when I was there, I saw a lot of things like people hooking up. They 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 dose, and then outside of the building, they trade contact information, and then they use stuff at home and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm a little shaken today, but many use methadone clinics to stabilize, and that's great. But what I'm talking about is the negative effects, right? People can say that Percocet stops my pain, it helps me go to work, and there are pluses to that, just like there are pluses to methadone. But one thing that I want to say is if you are thinking about using methadone, there are some things you should know first. For example, when I was on it for 5 years, I wanted to get off of it. I had to physically move down to Oregon to actually get off of it where there was no methadone clinic. I'm in southern Oregon, and where I am, there's not one anywhere close. And the closest one is a private one, right? And that you have to spend $400 or $500 a month just to get a dose. Anyways, I went through withdrawal. You can see my various withdrawal videos, and I used kratom to get off of it. But when I didn't take kratom, the withdrawal lasted 90 days at least. The physical, some will say it lasts 6 months or a year. Now I'm approaching a year and a half off of methadone, and I'm really happy. I'm proud of myself. But the fact of the matter is, methadone is not an amazing cure. Now, one thing that I think is better than methadone is Suboxone, right? Suboxone has Narcan in it, and it actually stops you from being able to feel things like heroin, Percocet, and all that stuff. But methadone, some people will tell you methadone, you can't feel heroin and stuff like that if you have a large enough dose. But when I was in the hospital and I was on methadone, they had to give me more pain medication, but I still felt it. Methadone, what it is it's a stabilizer, but it can be abused. And people can shoot up on heroin and stuff like that while they're on methadone, but they use it just as a way to make sure they don't go through withdrawal. Now, again, let me tell you, I am not ragging on everybody who's on methadone. I used it for 5 years, and it is a tool. And a tool can be used for good, or it can be used for evil. But what I'm talking about today is a cautionary tale about when it's used for evil. So getting all that cautionary stuff out of the way, telling you that, I'm not ragging on you guys. And I even had one commenter tell me, I asked, why are you so upset at me? And he said, because you're screwing with my life. It's on one of those videos comments somewhere. Someone can find it. But the guy said, you're screwing with my life because I'm on methadone and you're giving it a bad name. And I understand that, but we need to have dialogue in this community. Addicts are always addicts. And giving somebody something like methadone, it will stabilize you if you want to get help. But if you want to abuse it, it is much easier to abuse than Suboxone. Now, I don't know if I talked about this in my other videos, but I had a friend in 2017 who was on methadone with me. He was in my clinic. And you guys, I've talked about it before. I'm a combat medic, U.S. Army veteran, 5 years, 2 years in Iraq. Did 2 tours. And this guy was an infantryman, and he was a ranger, and he was one of the greatest guys I knew. 2017, he sent me a message, and I was asleep because I had a job. And the next day I responded, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And later on Facebook, I found out that he overdosed. He took 6 times the amount of his methadone because he usually took 4 or 5 times the amount, and it was okay for him. He overdosed on methadone only. He didn't use benzos. He didn't use heroin or anything like that. He just simply took too much methadone. This guy was my age, 2 years younger, so he was 30. I'm 34. That was 4 years ago, so he was 28 when he died. Sorry for the shakiness, but the reason why I'm so upset today is because I lost another friend to methadone. Another person who overdosed on methadone because they were taking way too much. This person had gotten to the tier where he could get it once a month, and so he would get 29 days worth. And like I said, I'm not going to divulge, who this person is. I would never do that. And nobody would be able to figure it out based on my social media because I don't use it. But so the identity is safe, but this is a cautionary tale to people. I get so many people telling me, you really shouldn't talk bad about methadone because it's helping so many people. But it's destroying lives as well. It is, when it comes to heroin and Percocet, I've never been on heroin, but I have taken Percocet. And Percocet lasts for about 4 to 6 hours, usually, typically. When I was on methadone, it would work for 8 to 12 hours, and it was much stronger, and it gave a much bigger euphoria than Percocet ever did. But on the other side, it took 90 days, 3 months to withdraw from, rather than Percocet, which usually takes a week or 2. I just want, I don't know how many people are going to see this video, and I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to tell people a cautionary tale without making it seem like I'm against everybody who's on methadone. But anyways, like I said, right now, currently, 4 months ago, I did a video and I talked about how I was back on kratom, and I'm still taking it because of my pancreatitis. I'm going through really bad pancreatitis pain, and I even did a kratom withdrawal video, and I was on it for like a year, for a long time, and I hardly had any withdrawal whatsoever. I want people to realize the value of kratom. Now, kratom can be misused just like any other drug. However, the withdrawal is shorter, and even though you can have an addiction to kratom, in my opinion and in my experience, it's a lot less dangerous. Now, it's a natural substance. A lot of people will say, well, opium is a natural substance, and so is what's it called, marijuana, and all of that. But this really feels like when you take it, it stops it. First of all, it gives you, if you take enough, it gives you a euphoria feeling, right? And it also curbs, it stops withdrawals. My head is just, it's not in a good place right now. I know I'm not talking very well, but I just want this to be a cautionary tale, you know? If you are, here's what I'll say. If you are coming off of Percocet, heroin, um, even alcohol, and stuff like that, please try kratom or Suboxone first. Suboxone is one that it will make sure that you can't feel, it's not a popular idea, but it'll make sure that you can't feel heroin for most people. Now, there are always exceptions, but Suboxone has Narcan in it, or naloxone, and it has that thing where it can the block other things to target your receptors. And kratom is, I would say that it is less addictive. It's definitely less harder on you when you're trying to withdraw from it. But it almost seems there's so many methadone clinics popping up. And when you are at a methadone clinic, they have so many rules for you. You have to abide by everything, and they basically have you by the balls, right? You have to do whatever they tell you to, or else you can't. And that's a scary idea for me, you know? I mean, what if there's something bad that happens in the government, something we don't agree with, and those clinics who control so many people suddenly say you have to do this. You have to abide this to get your script, or to get your dose. And it's really tough, but anyways, I I really care about people out there, and I don't even have like 400 subscribers. When I was on Parlor, I had almost 40,000 that that were following me, and so I don't have a far reach. But if you are going to start taking methadone, or you know somebody who is going to, please have them watch this video. I have in my other videos, I have videos talking about, it's not day by day, but I'm talking about how I withdraw from methadone on my channel. And it's a harrowing experience. But the biggest thing is, to those who do decide to abuse it, it's not all people. Not all people are bad. And, a lot of people use it because they want to get back to normal life. And to those people, I say, if it works for you, do it. But to those who can't, to those who still want to get high, and those who are being forced to go on to a methadone or an MAT, a medication assisted treatment, go to Suboxone instead. Because methadone is one of those things where if you take more, you'll get higher. It's one of those things where you can just double dose and triple dose and start feeling it more. Suboxone doesn't exactly work like that. Anyways, Um, I love you all, and like I said, I'm not here to bash anybody. I don't want anybody to think that this is ill will to anybody who's doing anything, but I just wanted to put out a warning there for people. Anyways, I'm done talking. Um, I'll talk to you later.